to adhere to the David Goggins mindset that people aren't tough enough or they're just being soft and weak. But going through this and feeling sad and not feeling as good as I otherwise would have because of the fact that I'm not doing as many physical activities as before, I feel like I've adopted a new mindset. Instead of having the feeling, an expression that people aren't just tough enough, they aren't putting in enough work, they aren't looking after themselves enough. The issue is far more complex
Mm-hmm.
than the simple narrative that people aren't putting enough work. So instead of thinking that, I've now deconstructed that mindset and reconstructed a new one that adheres to my worldview much more. And really really believe that what we should be doing is looking out for mindsets that adhere to our values, our tradition, culture, and what we deep down believe. Because I feel like nowadays we're basically just regurgitating information. Back in the olden days, when we had the great thinkers like Leonardo da Vinci, Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, they and Einstein, they all came up with the ideas of their own. They had to go against the prevailing ideas of the time, think for themselves, do research, do experiments. But I think and come to their own conclusion. And I think we too, as people, should do that. We shouldn't just take what we listen on the news and just adopt it. Take what we read in books and adopt it. What we should do is take it. Don't cling to it too harshly, but experiment with it. Look around. Don't be skeptical of it, but also at the same time, look around for other potential mindsets and ideas that are better than that one. And when you find that one, find a mindset that is better than that particular one, then you take that one and you discard the other. And so I've taken the empathetic mindset and discarded the harsh mindset that people aren't working hard enough, because really deep down, you don't know what people are going through and you don't know the level of suffering that an individual is experiencing. Some people just simply don't have enough time. They don't have enough education, they don't have the resources, they don't have the money. And I know it sounds like I'm making excuses and all this, but deep down it's sometimes almost impossible for an individual to bring his life up to the standard that you like, because of the psychological and physiological suffering that he's going through and the limited amount of resources that the universe has provided him with. And that unfortunately can be the sad truth. And sometimes
Mm.
we should look towards that person and say that it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be suffering, it's okay to feel all this stuff, but we're here to help you, man. Like recently we've had the suicide of I think it's Rekful online. I think Rekful is a famous streamer online that he's actually passed away sadly. And so we like Dr. K, who's a famous online YouTuber and like qualified psychologist, was basically saying, well, it's okay that you're going through this suffering, but don't give up. And if there's anyone else that's doing this, it's okay. If you can't deal with it yourself, then look towards others. Don't make it's fine to make excuses. It's fine to say all this stuff. It's okay to suffer. It's okay for men to cry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's perfectly fine, but if you need help, look towards others, man. And just, I feel like we should, going off on a tangent, but we should just adopt the mindset that
No,
we
man,
all
this
have.
is good.
That's best for society and optimal for us as well,
Yeah,
simultaneously.
to be honest, like, leading to the best conversations, you'll always end up talking about like I said when we were beginning the podcast, even though it might seem like we're just sort of going, oh, how are you, how you doing? But I feel like you always end up talking about what needs to be talking about, and we end up saying what needs to be said. So yeah, you've opened up a whole nother conversation. So I think you mentioned David Goggins, and I'll start there because David Goggins, I understand exactly what you meant by that, because I feel like, especially on the YouTube space or like the self-improvement space on the internet, there's this, people have, there are these trends where they've discovered this one thing that is this key to everything, and they're not, because like you said, the world is very, very complicated. Mental health's complicated, confidence is complicated, psychology is complicated. And, you know, like, it's, you know, one day it's meditation, one day it's cold showers, then it's NoFap, then it's David Goggins, then it's Jordan Peterson, dopamine detox. These are all trends, and at the time they think they are the key to everything, but like many things, they're not the key. They're another part of a larger puzzle, which is life and existence. And with the Goggins thing, you take what you learnt from it, which is doing hard things can make you mentally stronger, and which is very useful, but that doesn't completely eliminate the problems of mental well-being and mental health. It just doesn't.
It's like
And
you're like ignoring it, right? Technically.
yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, it's one of those things, like, it's part of the puzzle. There's no answer to mental health. The only answer to mental health is by
No,
talking about it. Yeah.
I'm saying that with the David Goggins mindset, the reason as to why it's not optimal for some people is because of the fact that you're ignoring your own suffering and anguish.
Yeah, that is one of the issues. There are positives, which is like the day-to-day little things don't really get you, which is probably a good thing, because little day-to-day things, they shouldn't make those aren't big groundbreaking things that aren't going to make you depressed. But you cannot just exercise your way through life and not think about anything, because like mental health, I always see it's like a creek, you know. If you keep pushing down your emotions, like the lake will get blocked by more and more things, and the water won't flow as well. And every now you just need to open up about your problems, and that allows, you know, the creek to flow more smoothly. And it's like that for mental health. So you just have to open up every now and then about what's bothering you. I do feel proud that we're part of the first generation that is taking mental health seriously, because mental health hasn't really been taken seriously like at any point in human history. Because like the idea of like two men opening up about the problems and one of them crying, the other one comforts them, isn't something that has ever been, well, if 50 years ago that would be seen as very abnormal and not healthy, even though we know that if you have a bereavement or you're depressed, that opening up about it is the way to solve it, and it stops having the power over you. So I'm proud that we're taking mental health more seriously as a society. It's one of the great things we've done in recent years.
Because within olden times, right, if you were to cry, if a man was to cry, then it wouldn't be seen as acceptable in the slightest. Men are supposed to be this tough, strong, solid, family supporting figure, or unit even, that's supposed to be there for the entire family and ignore their own emotions, their needs, their desires, and sacrifice their time in order to support the well-being of the entire family unit. I think that's definitely true, man.